Hi, I'm Eric from Classics Books,
And I'm Donna Classics.
and we're here to talk about, in the bookstore, we're here to talk about some of our favorite things from Scotland. My wife, for Christmas, got me this tasting set for Glenlivit. We've got the Glenlivit 12, the Glenlivit 14, and the Glenlivit 15, and we're going to taste them all here with you today.
Okay.
And then we're also I pulled some books out that either feature Scotland or are by Scottish writers, or feature Scotland and are by Scottish writers. And we're going to talk a little bit about those too.
Okay, I don't know anything about the books except for probably Peppa Pig, who's British, I think, and not Scottish. But what she is in, Peppa Goes to Scotland. Okay, I can talk about that. Got it?
Got it. All right.
Disclosure, we already tasted the 12. We cracked that bottle open, so we will be, for the first time, tasting the 14 and the 15.
15? Yeah.
All right, so, like that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to give
Maybe
my
we're not
pour.
tasting the 14.
Just, I think I'm going to drink this much, too. You want me to pour?
Yeah, sure. Well, tell them a little bit about your Scotch glass.
Okay, so this Scotch glass is a Glencairn, and in the bottom of the glass it's etched Glencairn, and I think for Scotches, it's supposed to be, you're supposed to be able to get a good nose
because of the shape.
Yes. You're able to see a good color, and I heard that you don't grab it this way, that you hold it on the bottom.
And why is that?
I don't know. I think it's to keep it cool.
And what I'm drinking out is...
I poured a little bit. Opposed to mine.
Mine has the same basic shape inside. Mine is a Norland whiskey glass. And it's the same shape, roughly the same shape inside to give you that ability to smell, but it's got a second layer of glass on the outside that keeps the temperature in my fingers from affecting the temperature inside.
Mm-hmm.
So
look at the legs on yours.
Tell them what legs are. I don't know how sophisticated you are.
Know.
Yeah, I know we're not very sophisticated, but I think legs are how, when you shake it like this, it's how the whiskey drip down.
Drink some.
Okay.
Now, usually people let it breathe a little bit.
You want to let it breathe, and I'll talk about some books?
Okay. I'm going to taste while you talk about
okay.
books. But I'm really looking at the color. So this is Glenlivit. What area of Scotland is it?
This is Speyside, I think.
Okay. So what's going on in Speyside? Do we know?
I don't know off the top of my head. My favorite scotches are from the peaty areas of Scotland, which the Islay, which is not Speyside. So this is a sweeter, we're told, is a sweeter Scotch than the stuff I usually drink, which is very smoky, like sucking a campfire.
And I like the color of it. It really is bright. It reminds me of spring or summer. Usually, it's a cold, rainy winter day here in Trenton today. But when I look at this, it reminds me of summer and spring. So it's a light color. So what is it aged in? What are these aged?
This is a double cask, I think. So a double oak cask.
Oak. So American oak, probably.
It's aged in both one European oak cask and then one American oak cask. Don't tell me exactly what that means, but that's the truth.
Okay. Well, you don't want to know?
I don't know.
Okay.
Are you going to tell me?
No, I don't know. So when hello, you get a nose. It is bright. It's not heavy. It's very light. I'm thinking like fruity taste.
Yes.
And I like to nose it in one nostril and then in the other nostril and take a breath away.
She's very highfalutin.
Well, I want to taste it. See what it tastes like.
It is fruity.
Yeah, kind of fruity.
And it doesn't have sort of a bad aftertaste that some scotches will get you
Or
there
an
at the end.
afterburn.
Yeah.
It's kind of warm, but it doesn't burn. And I'm thinking of the difference of the peaty scotches. It doesn't have a burnt flavor, but it's very, very warm. I take another one on this one.
She has a lot of scotch to drink, so while she's doing that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the books. I'm going to start with books by Scottish authors that don't necessarily take place in Scotland. Like Robert Louis Stevenson, author of Treasure Island, was a Scottish author.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But I don't know that, I've never read it, but I don't think particularly it takes place in Scotland.
Okay, I read it as a kid, but in the little comic versions that they used to have. They were good. They were a good way to introduce people to the classics.
Another Scottish author was Arthur Conan Doyle, who wrote Sherlock Holmes, who isn't Scottish, and they don't take place for the most part in Scotland, but he's another Scot.
But there's some Scottish stories. Isn't the Hound of the Baskervilles, isn't that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so anything else you want to talk about the whiskey?
Well, I've tasted it. What do they call it? Straight.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to taste it. What is this? Neat? When you put a little water?
Neat is when there's no water.
Okay.
I don't know.
With water.
It's so funny. I learned something recently. I was always told that you drink it without any water. You drink it neat, and that's how to drink Scotland. But I spoke to a actual Scots person who said that's nonsense. You always drink it with a little water, so I don't know which way you're supposed to do it.
Now, when I put a little water in, I always get something different. I always get a different taste that I don't get.
Oh, let me try that then too.
Neat. And the taste always comes after the swallow for me, and then I breathe it. And I'm tasting a little, what seems to me to be like a honey taste, or maybe it's vanilla. I am
a little
getting
vanilla.
The vanilla now.
Okay, before we go on to the next one, let me talk some more about some books while you're thinking about the Scotch. That we also have some books here that are not by Scots people, but feature Scotland in some way. Peppa Pig Goes to Scotland. Not one of the Scottish canon, but
Peppa Pig. I know my nieces really loved this book when they were little, but our kids were a little older by the time Peppa Pig came out. And this book is available at Classics Used and Rare.
All of these books are.
This book in particular, the Books and Homes program, if your kid lives in the city of Trenton, goes to Trenton Public Schools, they get their books for free here, if you didn't already know. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Another book about Scotland, not written by a Scot, is the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. Sorry, whatever her last name is.
Okay.
So this is a time travel piece where this woman goes back in time to feudal Scotland and back and forth. And it's about her, it's a love story. She's married in the present time, which is right after World War II. And then, when she goes back in time, she falls in love with a Highlander there. And it's back and forth about what she's going to do and how she's going to take control of her life.
Okay, I'm ready to taste another one. Let's go to 214. So I got a clean glass. Can I use your buffing glass buffer? I just want to wipe my glass down. Yes. I find that when you clean the glass, you want to get residue from maybe your dishwasher or your dish soap. I cleaned my mom's glass when I was at her house, and she said that the contents tasted a little better after the glass was clean.
Makes me feel like I'm in a hotel room.
Right. Here you go. All right, and before I taste this 14, you can pour for me too. I want to cleanse my palate, get the last one out so I can see what the differences were. Sometimes you can cleanse your palate. This is coffee beans from the old Trenton roaster. Trenton Coffee House, but it's now something else, right?
One Up, One Down makes coffee here in the city, and you can get it on cast in the city being Trenton, and you can get that in at the place that this place used to be.
Do you want to whiff?
No, that's all right, but I'm going to do it the old-fashioned way and drink some water out of our Trenton glasses. So we're selling everything today. Okay, this is the 14.
It's even lighter. Color is about the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is one sip. Okay.
Wow. That's surprising how different it can be between a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old Scotch. Very smooth.
This is the smoothest Scotch I've ever tasted in my life.
And lots more vanilla, the sort of flavor in there. Not as fruity as the other one.
Yeah, I'm getting an earthy flavor. Briny almost. A little bit of brine.
Wow, that's good.
And you're going to have to pour me a little more of that. Quit playing. Okay. And that, I really don't feel the need to water it.
That's great.
Not at all. I just want to drink it as it is. It's a nice color. It reminds you of honey, but there's no honey taste at all.
Yeah.
Very earthy.
Yeah. Oh, and that one gets a little more intense after you. Yeah. That's great. Let me talk about the last couple books while we're working our way through that Scotch. These are Scottish books that are also about Scotland. Ian Rankin, he's a mystery novelist, and all the mysteries take place in Scotland. And another Scottish author that writes whose works take place in Scotland is Sir Walter Scott, the perfect last name for being a Scot. Ivanhoe and Rob Roy are classics and heavily associated with Scotland. Rob Roy has a great movie with Liam Neeson. If you get it, with the best sword fight scene ever. If you get a chance to watch that, if you don't come down and get the book. Let's see, what's our last one? The 15?
Yeah. I'm really excited. I'm gonna eat a cracker to cleanse my palate from the 14. These are crackers from 207 Main Catering and Events. We usually get a grazing box for them for the holidays.
It's a box of fruit. It's a sort of half charcuterie, and there's cheese and fruit and sweets in there. It's delicious. It's always kind of a surprise when it comes in. She does it differently every time, and this time for New Year's Eve, she put party favors on the top. She decorates them differently. The contents are always different. It's really wonderful.
Okay. A little water, and I'll be ready. You already started. Hold on. Wait up. What do you think?
I'm excited to taste it. Do I have to really wait?
No, go ahead. Something very familiar in the nose.
Wow, that's great too. It reminds me a lot of the 14. I guess 1 year difference isn't as big of a difference.
It's something, maybe, why does it remind me of school? Not that I drank in school, but like cleanser, like the cleanser that they use to, like, coming back to school in the morning.
I've heard some people say they have, like, it tastes like pineapple. I don't taste any pineapple in any of these things.
I gotta figure that out.
Well, so we've been through all the books. We've been through all three of the Glenlivits.
What do you think?
I like it. I think the 14 and the 15 definitely smoother,
Mm-hmm.
but the 12 is very good too. The 12 is fruitier, and these are a little more smooth. But they're all great, all worth trying. Like this could be a staple, and I sort of always have it on hand. Well, we want to thank you for listening as we sit here and drink and talk about books.
It's pine.
Tastes like pine.
Taste of pine.
I have to think about it. I'm not catching the pine either.
It reminds me of Christmas.
But your palate's always a little more sensitive to mine, so.
They're all three very distinctive. They're all three really different.
Yep.
And I don't feel the need to drop water in any of the 14 or the 15.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us. And we've got another scotch we're going to do sometime soon.
We're going to do another scotch.
I've got a Talisker.
You got the Lefroy.
Yeah, we got Lefroy, which I love, but we'd like to talk about that. We're going to run out of books on Scotland before we run out of scotch, I think.
I think you have a Macallan. There's something else there, but
we'll see.
You'll see.
Yep.
All right.
Anyways, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, help us out and hit like and subscribe. Wherever you live, Classics can be your hometown bookshop. Browse our books from the link in the description and we'll ship to you. All right. Now let's see if it's still recording.
I think I'm drunk already.
You drank a lot. And it's still recording. That's excellent.